Why do some people feel that humility is a weakness? This is because they do not understand the true meaning of humility. Self respect goes hand in hand with humility. It means that no matter what happens, you will always make choices that will never harm the spirit, yours or someone else's. It means having the right judgment, knowing your limits, and not hurting or disrespecting someone else. Humility should not be seen as a weakness. In fact, pride is a weakness that prevents you from accepting your flaws. Humility helps you work from your subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is not concerned about appearances, it will crush the ego and do what is right. Sometimes, you will admit your flaws, but you will still feel resentment. An acceptance of flaws should bring you peace, not resentment. It takes some people a very long time to admit that they are wrong. This is a strong sign that the ego is at work. Humility is of utmost value because it enables you to access the moral truth within you and helps you be your own guide. How can that be a weakness? Humility allows you to be really honest with yourself. You will be able to judge within a second if your ego is hurt or if you are simply being firm in your beliefs. To take a moral stand is a good thing because you are responding from your spiritual core. To be humble is not to tolerate evil. A lot of people use humility as an excuse for being cowardly, and that is, indeed, a weakness. Humility means you fight evil by not encouraging it, knowing that the strength to do so comes from God. How will a person know if he or she is proud? The following are signs of pride. 1. You do not believe in the existence of God. 2. It is very hard for you to accept your flaws. 3. When you find out that you were wrong and someone else was right, you cannot handle it. 4. You run away from the truth. 5. You think you are superior to others. 6. You think only you are gifted. 7. You believe you are indispensable. 8. You feel you know everything and have no desire to acquire spiritual knowledge. 9. You feel your point of view is the only point of view. 10. You constantly put people down and make them feel small. 11. You do not care if you hurt someone's feelings. 12. You feel you are responsible for all the good that happens to you. 13. You fail to accept the fact that there are others who are much better than you in something. 14. You feel prayer is unimportant. 15. You lack the understanding that everyone has flaws and that all people make mistakes. 16. You think only about yourself. 17. You are impatient, irritable, people's flaws irritate you, and very stubborn. 18. You resist change. 19. You can't handle it if someone does not agree with you. How does one acquire humility? 1. Open the subconscious mind. When you operate from the subconscious mind, humility will become a natural state of existence for you. 2. Pray. When you pray genuinely and regularly, you are constantly aware of the fact that you are created by God. This will keep you humble. 3. Understand coexistence and unity. God created everyone equal. So the moment you consider yourself superior to someone else, there is a flaw in your thinking. We all come to earth with different gifts for our own tests, training, and mission, so there is no question of being superior. 4. Learn how to serve others. The ego wants to fulfill its own desires, but humility leads you to the path of service. 5. Be open and understand someone else's point of view. 6. Accept your flaws, only then can you change. 7. Always be open to spiritual knowledge. A humble person is always a student. However, do not go too deep into spirituality. What we mean by this is do not get stuck in the theory. As a student, practice whatever you have learned, step by step. After you practice what you have learned, you are strengthening the spirit, but if you get obsessed with the knowledge alone, and do not work on changing yourself from within, you are strengthening the ego. 8. Be compassionate. Keep others' feelings in mind. Be considerate and understand their situations. 9. Have patience. Keep in mind that people are at different stages of spiritual development, and that their tests, training, and karma are different. They also have varying levels of spiritual knowledge. Do not judge them, help them grow. 10. When something good happens to you, or when you achieve something in your earthly world, always thank God, and also thank the people on earth and in the spirit world who have helped you. 11. When you are unsure of something, ask for advice from a person you trust. Today, one of the main problems is that people are too proud to ask for help or advice. They see it as a sign of weakness. It requires strength to be open about the fact that you need help. But not asking for help and convincing yourself that you can go through problems without anyone's help is a sign of pride. 12. Surrender to God. Do your best to stay on the right path, but know that the outcome is in God's hands. His plan is of a higher nature than what you have in mind. Spirituality involves crushing of the ego, and that can be a terrifying thing for people who are proud. So, if you are very proud, it will be very difficult for you to embark on a spiritual journey. It is not impossible for a proud person to change, but a proud person will have to work hard to change because the ego will work extra hard to prevent you from changing. For years and years, you have been rooted in the physical, materialistic world by your ego. Spirituality is about cutting those roots and growing new ones out of a higher understanding. There can be no true flight with ego. Humility helps you take flight and at the same time, keeps you grounded. The shift of the axis, the shift is entirely man-made, caused by the energy created by, the shift is entirely man-made, caused by the energy created by man's actions. The more crimes and sins, the sooner the shift will occur. The only way to survive the shift is to stay on the godly good path. What is the shift of the axis? Nature is a living thing. Therefore, it is very sensitive to energy. Since nature is neutral, when human beings follow the wrong path, their actions build negative vibrations, and these negative vibrations are absorbed by nature. Human beings have the ability to change the course of nature for better or for worse. When humans constantly follow the wrong path and show no respect for God, their fellow beings, or nature, a great deal of negative energy builds up. As a result, nature's response is negative. There is an increase in natural disasters such as earthquakes, floods, tornadoes, volcanoes, fires, and so on. This is nature's way of telling human beings to stop, think, and change. Humans may have progressed technologically, but that is not true progress. Power is to be used for the good of human beings, not for personal gain or for negative purposes. The basic foundations of goodness, love, selflessness, and friendship have almost vanished from earth. This is not a sign of progress, but a sign of decline. Nature is a reflection of human beings. It shows what is within you. All the upheavals that are taking place in your world are an indication of the unrest within humans. Also, what emanates from you is absorbed by nature. If you send out positive energy, nature will reflect that in the form of peace and harmony. If you send out negative energy, nature's response will be negative. If you carry out nuclear tests in one place, the result will be an earthquake in another place. Unfortunately, we forget that the entire planet is a home and that we are all connected. Right now, human beings are so far removed from the right path that nature is giving a sign. You live in a world where people are afraid or embarrassed to talk about God or to walk on the spiritual path. There are other people who say they believe in God, but do not live even a second of their lives in accordance with His teachings, and are so disconnected from His goodness that they perform unimaginable acts. There are people who embark on so-called spiritual journeys only to feed their own egos, or who run away from their duties and responsibilities and convince themselves they are reaching for God. God's laws are made in such a way that when human beings go beyond a certain limit, when they are in complete disharmony with goodness and there exists a major imbalance, nature will give them warnings that they are following the wrong path. If human beings do not change, nature must correct that imbalance through a cleansing process because eventually, God's creations, both humans and nature, must exist as they are meant to, as pure, generous, and peaceful creations. But before that peace is restored, negative energies need to be wiped out. The cleansing has already begun, but this time nature will not rest until the earth is pure once again, a place where humans live in harmony and practice what it means to be true instruments of the Almighty. To be a true instrument is to live selflessly, for the greater good, with complete faith in God. Man must be in balance with nature, remain on the right path, and progress spiritually. However, on earth, the cycle of life is such that sometimes good is more widespread and negativity is contained, or vice versa, and this goes on, cycle after cycle. At some point, negativity becomes too overwhelming, and this overbearing increase in negativity brings about a cleansing process, as a major portion of this negativity must be wiped out. Since the cleansing process is to be brought about by nature, the magnitude of natural disasters is such that there will be a pole shift. The axis of the earth will shift physically. A series of cataclysmic earthquakes will cause this major imbalance, which will be followed by floods, tidal waves, fires, more earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and so on. This will cause a major part of negativity to be wiped out. This information is not meant to frighten you, it is meant to awaken you to change. Is the shift of the axis caused by God or man? God gave man free will to make choices. Therefore, the shift is entirely man-made, as it is caused by the negative energy created by man's actions. The shift is about cause and effect and is a natural response to human action. It is entirely in the hands of human beings. By rejecting the guidance of the subconscious mind, human beings are straying completely from the spiritual path. This is the main reason the shift will happen soon. If you upset the miraculous and delicate balance of nature, it will have strong repercussions. What will be the duration of the shift? A major part of the devastation will take place within a few hours. It will be quite fast, and at the time, when many have lost their near and dear ones, good people will guide and comfort them, giving them the strength to live and to not give up hope. When will the shift of the axis happen? The timing is entirely in the hands of human beings. The more crimes and sins take place, the sooner the shift will occur. Who will survive the shift? It is entirely up to you to survive. The cleansing process means that a major part of negativity will be wiped out. In order to survive, make sure that you are not part of the negativity that needs to be wiped out. Rise spiritually. What percentage of the world's population will survive? 25% of the world's population will survive. Where will the shift begin? The shift will begin simultaneously all over the world with a cataclysmic earthquake, which will have a continuous chain reaction worldwide, and will continue until the cleansing process is complete. Land will be replaced by sea, there will be widespread fires, and there will be massive explosions wherever nuclear weapons, arms and ammunition are stored. The devastation will be monumental. Which parts of the world will be safe during and after the shift? Places that have positive vibrations will be safe, e.g. parts of Canada, New Zealand and Australia. Places that have negative vibrations will be the least likely to survive. After the shift, will medicine be required in the safe areas? Initially, medicine will be required, so it is better to stock up medicine at home. Also, try to take first aid and disaster management courses so that you know what to do if someone is injured. What does the shift have to do with our spiritual development? You have all been reborn on earth during this time in order to change for the better during a time when it is difficult to change because of so much negativity. This is how you chose to progress, by coming to earth during difficult times and leading a positive, spiritual life. The very first thing you need to do is change. You need to do this quickly, before the shift of the axis occurs, because that is your test. It is a test you have chosen. Once the shift occurs, the cleansing process will have begun and the vibrations on earth will change, so there will be less temptation. Therefore, the test is to change now. Spirit souls want to help you change, but we need your cooperation. If you have no desire to improve, we cannot force you to. Never say that you do not have the time to think about spiritual improvement. When you get too caught up in a physical existence, you forget why you have come to earth. Consider yourself lucky to have been born during difficult times. As you progress spiritually, you will attach less and less importance to earthly things, and you will fulfill your duties and complete your mission on earth. Finally, understand that a selfless good deed done now, when negativity is at its peak, will help you progress much faster than if that same good deed is done at a later stage, after the shift when the vibration is positive and good is ascendant. What are spirit souls doing to help souls on earth with respect to the shift? Currently, we are trying very hard to improve souls on earth in order to help them survive the shift. We are also working to move good souls to safer areas. There is a flurry of activity all around the earth, of which you are not even aware. We are extremely alert right now, and are keeping track of every single change on earth. The shift is a necessary cleansing process. It has occurred at regular intervals in your planet's history. However, this time, human beings have come too close to destroying the very planet that gives them life, supports them, and helps them grow. Human beings have to learn to live in total unity and harmony with nature. So it is up to you to simplify your lives and follow the right path. Once again, the only way for you to survive is to change for the better and follow the right path. How will human beings be guided and helped during the shift? People who are on the higher realms will be saved. UFOs will send down levitation beams to evacuate good souls who are trapped in dangerous places. Everyone will see these beams and they will be scared, but good souls who are on the higher realms will understand and they will be guided as to what they have to do. Even if good souls are fallen under the debris and not visible to the human eye, they will be seen and saved. These souls will be guided towards the beams which will lift them into the spacecrafts. Those who are not on the higher realms and have bad vibrations will fear these beams and will be unable to touch the beam or go into it, even if they want to. Once in the spacecraft, people will be taught survival techniques and will then be relocated on islands that will emerge from the sea. This will be one of the hardest tests people will have to face, and they will need a lot of strength and positive attitude before, during, and after the shift. Now, do you understand why we are asking you to improve faster? Will a family remain together after the shift? It will depend on how good each individual is. During the shift, only your realm will count, and depending on your realm, you will remain united or separated from your family. If a pregnant mother has low vibrations and her unborn child is a good soul, what will be their fate? At the time of the shift, no good soul will take rebirth through an evil mother. An interview with Khorshid Rumi Bhavnagari. How did you start helping people? When my sons died, my husband and I were very miserable and did not know how we would face life. Our sons helped us by communicating with us and giving us messages of hope and courage. Later on, when my automatic writing skills were well developed, they said to us, "Our mission is to help people on earth, from the spirit world, through you both." What was your first reaction when you received your son's messages? Did you believe in psychic things? We were very excited, and yes, we have always believed in psychic things. Before they died, Wispy and I used to discuss the afterlife and reincarnation. From the time I was 7 years old, I had a thirst for this kind of knowledge. I had an experience once that has stayed with me even today. Rumi, the kids, and I were going on a trip out of town with some relatives. I always carried sweets with me whenever I traveled, but this time I had forgotten, so I asked Rumi to stop the car and get some. I was sitting alone in the car, waiting for them to return, when I saw a weeping bullock. I saw tears pour down his face and I wondered why this was happening. Was he suffering? The bullock turned his head to me and put his jaw near the window, where my hand was resting, and looked at me in such a way as if he were trying to tell me, "You know why I am grieving, I am suffering a lot." At that moment, Rumi, the kids, and my relatives returned and were surprised to see me talking to the bullock. Wispy told me during our communication that negative souls reincarnate on earth as beasts of burden if they want to progress faster. I understood from this experience that beasts of burden suffer a lot, though I did not realize this until much later. How did you feel a month after the boys died, and how did Wispy take away your misery and depression? What convinced you that you were communicating with them? While communicating with us, Wispy said things that only he knew about. They also gave me the names of strangers and asked me to call them and give them some messages. We traced these absolute strangers and gave them the messages that we were asked to. This was our proof that these people really existed and Wispy's messages were accurate. When we were depressed, our sons cheered us up by telling us jokes and showed us how to lead our lives happily. They made us laugh and would guide us and tell us what to do and how. Wispy Bhavnagari at the Rustom Bog Pavilion. Ritu Bhavnagari in his CAR. Did people often ask you why you were disturbing the dead? Yes, very often. I constantly asked Wispy whether we were hampering their progress through communication and if we were harming them in any way or stopping their progress. If we were, we would have stopped communicating with them even though we loved to. Wispy said, "On the contrary, we can all progress much faster because we can guide you within seconds during our communication, as we have to help you somehow. You may take days or months to listen and you may still not do what is right, but with our two-way communication it will be much better." He assured us that nothing would harm their progress. I believed him and continued to communicate with them. He also said that it was much easier and faster to rise spiritually on earth than in the spirit world, depending on how we led our lives. Who are we to judge if a person is good or bad? Using the word judge is not correct. I am not judging anyone, but with Wispy and Ritu's guidance I can make out instinctively if a person's vibration is good or bad, or if they are on a low level. As you rise spiritually and gain more knowledge, your subconscious mind guides you more and more and you tend to trust your own instincts. You feel uncomfortable with negative people and you just want to get away from them. The opposite is true of good people who are trying very hard to improve themselves. You are instinctively attracted to them. Why do some people not believe in the spirit world and think that the ones who do are crazy? There are a number of reasons why people don't believe. Some are scared of what they cannot see or understand, some are brainwashed from childhood, some simply pretend they don't believe in the existence of God, some even deny their belief because they are afraid that their family and friends might laugh at them, some do not accept this belief because they are guilty, for some, it is easier to stay on the wrong path because they are weak. Most of the people who come to me for help are teenagers or youngsters in their 20s and early 30s, very few old people. Older people are set in their ways of thinking and deny the existence of an afterlife, and they fear the spirit world in general. The ones who are guilty won't come because they are scared to admit their guilt, as they know what they have done, they generally continue to do bad things, and don't want others to find out, so they avoid this knowledge. What were Wispy, Ritu and Popsy's hobbies? Our family was always interested in music and driving, and the men loved sports. Wispy and I loved reading and he loved music, especially Jim Reeves and Nat King Cole. Wispy enjoyed tinkering with car and ship models and he even made his own speakers. The music recordings he made were exceptional and I still have some of them. We all loved animals, especially dogs, and we had many collies, Pomeranians, Alsatians, and a Lhasa Apso, whom Wispy trained very well. Why is Wispy more heard of and talked about than Ritu? We hear more about Wispy as he is helping and giving messages to more earth souls than Ritu. Ritu's work, on the other hand, is to help souls who have just arrived in the spirit world by guiding them. He also works with Wispy by communicating with earth souls. When did you first communicate for someone else? In 1981, I communicated for my cousin and some relatives. What are the major things for which people come to you? About 50% of the people come to me to receive spiritual guidance and comfort through messages. The other 50% is divided among people with problems, including family unrest, serious problems between parents and children, marital problems, and worst of all, evil people directing negativity at others. People from all walks of life come to receive guidance and I try to help them all if they are willing to accept, learn, and improve. If you had one message to give readers, what would that be? There are many good souls on earth who lose their loved ones and then follow the wrong path because they do not know how to handle the pain. We want to assure those people that they are not alone. Their loved ones are still with them, looking after them from the spirit world. Always remember what Wispy told me years ago: real, true love never dies. Not even after your death on earth. Love is greater than death. Love is eternal. Death is just a transition from one world to another, from one body to another. Death is not at all something big, but love is extraordinary. Glossary aka SHIC records. Akashic records are also known as the Hall of Memories or the Hall of Journals. Each and every deed, good or bad, is recorded here under your soul name. The Akashic records contain the memories of all the lives you have led on earth. When souls on earth are in deep dreamless sleep, their subconscious mind makes entries in the Akashic records. Angels are good souls from realm 5 stage 7 and above. They have the ability and power to perform miracles. They can also come down to earth to help human beings in case of emergencies, after taking permission from his highest good soul. Lower level souls cannot be angels as they have to take training and have more knowledge on how to guide earth souls. Astral plane. The astral plane is a dimension higher than earth but lower than the spirit plane. In that sense, it is between earth and the spirit world. An astral plane is where astral souls reside. These astral souls can view earth from the astral plane but cannot view the spirit plane or the spirit world. Astral beings, they are lost souls who have rejected the advice of the subconscious mind and refused to become spirit beings. An astral being is one that has shed its earthly, physical body but is not a spirit being as yet. It looks just as its human form did at the time of its death. Aura. An aura is an energy field that surrounds the body of every living being. Its color and intensity reflect the current mood, emotional and physical state. Some human beings have the ability to see auras. Automatic writing. Automatic writing is the process through which spirit beings communicate with human beings on earth. The spirit being, whom you are communicating with, will move the pen while you hold it lightly on the page. Slowly, over time, words and then sentences will form. Never attempt automatic writing on your own. It is extremely dangerous to start automatic writing on your own without a protective link. Black magic. Black magic is an occult practice completely against God's laws, where human beings use negative astral souls and entities, and their own negative thoughts, for selfish gains and to cause harm to others. Channel, a medium through which spirit beings can communicate with people on earth. Conscience, also known as subconscious mind. See subconscious mind. Extrasensory perception, ESP. ESP is the ability to perceive things beyond the five senses of touch, taste, hearing, sight and smell. Ghosts. Ghosts, see astral beings. Group souls. God created a certain number of souls at the same time. These souls reincarnate on earth together, in the same group, life after life, so that they can help each other pay off karma, work on their mission and rise spiritually. Group souls are also known as soulmates. Hall of Journals, see Akashic Records. Hall of Learning. The Hall of Learning is a place in the spirit world where spirit beings can go to access information. It is like a library full of spiritual truths. It contains knowledge about God's laws, about the nature of the universe and about every single aspect of God's creation. Information is revealed according to a soul's ability to understand. Hall of Memories, see Akashic Records. Hall of Rest. If the death of a person on earth is unexpected and sudden, that soul is taken to the Hall of Rest. As these souls may be traumatized, they are given healing rays to calm them. High Good Soul, SA. High Good Soul refers to a spirit being from realm 6, stage 7 and above. High Good Soul of that realm, the ruler, king or head of each realm, is called the High Good Soul of that realm, a complete soul from the next universe. His highest good soul, the ruler, king or head of realm 7 and all the other realms as well. He is a complete soul from the next universe. Higher self, see subconscious mind. Instinct. Instinct is a God-given, gut feeling that comes from the subconscious mind. This feeling is for your protection as well as those around you. Karma. Karma is the consequence of a soul's thoughts, words or actions. It is based on the principle of what you sow, you reap. Karma can be a debt that you owe or a blessing that you may receive. Link. During the process of automatic writing, protection is provided by higher spirit beings, through prayers and positive energy, for safe communication between earth souls and good spirit beings. This link can only be joined by an experienced and authorized automatic writer once permission has been granted from the spirit world. Master. A master refers to a spiritual teacher. An evolved soul who comes to earth from higher realms of the spirit world with the mission to impart and spread spiritual knowledge. Medium. A medium is a person on earth who is able to communicate with the spirit world. Motive. The true intent, reason, or driving force behind a person's thoughts, words or deeds. Past life memory. The recollection of an event or part of an event that took place in a soul's previous lifetime. Prophet. When there is extreme negativity on earth, God sends a very high soul from a higher universe to earth to guide people. This prophet gives knowledge to earth souls so they can improve spiritually. Prophets come down to earth very rarely, only when the planet is facing a spiritual crisis. Realms. There are 7 realms or planes of existence in the spirit world, with 1 being the lowest and 7 being the highest. Seance. A seance is a meeting of a group of people who wish to communicate with their deceased loved ones or other supernatural entities. It is performed by a single medium who acts as go-between for the group and the spirits. Shift of the axis. God's laws are made in such a way that when human beings go spiritually wrong, beyond a certain limit, nature will give them warnings that they are following the wrong path. If human beings do not change, nature will correct the imbalance through a cleansing process. Since the cleansing process is brought about by nature, the magnitude of natural disasters is such that the Earth's axis will tilt, thereby causing a pole shift. Silver cord. The silver cord is a ray of light that is the connection between your spirit and your earthly body. Soul. The soul is your eternal spirit body. Just as you have a physical body on earth, which is guided by the physical mind, the soul is your immortal spirit body and is guided by your subconscious mind. Soul characteristic. Soul characteristics are the qualities, positive and negative, that a soul gathers through many lifetimes. Soul mates. See group souls. Soul name. Every soul is given a soul name when the soul is created. Just as the soul is split into 2, so is the name, which remains the same throughout your existence. Your deeds are recorded in the Akashic records under your soul name. Spirit. The spirit includes your soul and your subconscious mind. Spirit guides. Every soul on earth has a guardian in the spirit world who guides the earthly soul from birth to death. This guardian is known as your spirit guide, and it is his or her job to guide you spiritually. Spirit world. Our true home. It is divided into 7 different realms. Each realm has 10 stages. Subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is also known as the conscience, higher mind, higher self or inner voice. It is your true spiritual mind that guides your soul. Telepathy is the ability to receive messages from spirit beings in the form of projected thoughts, which are accessed through your subconscious mind. Twin souls. When a soul begins its human journey on realm 4 stage 5, it is split into two, a male soul and a female soul. These two souls exist separately and continue their earthly journey individually until both reach realm 7 stage 9. There they reunite to become a whole soul before progressing to the next universe. Vibrations. Every object, whether living or otherwise, has a vibration. A vibration is a frequency of energy that flows at different speeds. Vibrations are either good or bad. A good vibration makes you feel comfortable and positive, while a bad vibration makes you feel uncomfortable and negative. You can only recognize this if you are a good soul whose subconscious mind is open. Walk in. If the situation on earth gets harder than you can handle, and you are on the right path, then a good soul from the spirit world known as a walk-in will occupy your body until the trying period passes. This happens rarely and only in case of emergencies. Recommended reading: The Search for the Truth, Ruth Montgomery, Here and Hereafter, Ruth Montgomery, A World Beyond, Ruth Montgomery, The World Before, Ruth Montgomery, Strangers Amongst Us, Ruth Montgomery, Born to Heal, Ruth Montgomery, Threshold to Tomorrow, Ruth Montgomery, Companions Along the Way, Ruth Montgomery, Herald of the New Age, Ruth Montgomery, Aliens Among Us, Ruth Montgomery, The World to Come, Ruth Montgomery, Do the Dead Suffer, Lawrence Burt, Teachings of Silver Birch, Silver Birch, Guidance from Silver Birch, Silver Birch, Philosophy of Silver Birch, Silver Birch, Mystery of Life, Death and the Beyond, F. Rustomjee, Life After Life, Raymond Moody Jr., MD, Death and Its Mystery Before Death, Camille Flammarion, You Will Survive After Death, Sherwood Eddy, Life in the World Unseen, Anthony Bourgeois, Life After Death, Doctors. Ralph Harlow, 20 Cases Suggestive of Reincarnation, Ian Stevenson, MD, Faith is the Answer, Norman Vincent Peale, Many Lives, Many Masters, Brian Weiss, MD, Messages from the Masters, Brian Weiss. MD, Edgar Cayce, The Sleeping Prophet, Jess Stern, Many Mansions, The Edgar Cayce Story of Reincarnation, Gina Sermonera on Atlantis, Edgar Cayce Earth Changes Update, Hugh Lynn Cayce v. The Arcturians, Dr. Norma Milanovic with Betty Rice and Cynthia Plosky. Afterward, Khorshid Aunty always said, spirituality is a light subject. Don't go too deep into it. Spirituality is not about running away into the mountains. It is about living your life right here amongst people, facing your problems and fulfilling your duties and responsibilities. It is about completing your spiritual mission on earth. When you understand this fine balance, your life will be joyful. One doesn't become spiritual just by reading 1,000 books on spirituality or joining a spiritual group and then failing its main purpose, selfless service and true action. You must sift knowledge and let your instinct lead you to decipher what is right and wrong. There is no use getting fanatical about the knowledge from books and allowing your ego to think that you know it all without true application of the same. Many fall into this trap and call themselves teachers without having practiced what they preach. Blinded by their egos, the years of gaining spiritual knowledge are a waste due to no application and therefore no spiritual growth, all because of spiritual pride, which is man's biggest downfall. What makes you spiritual is your spiritual action. Only genuine selfless action brings about true change. Khorshid Aunty always liked small acts of kindness. She always encouraged us to go step by step with full faith with respect to any problem. Spirituality is a slow but sure climb. We all have flaws and we all make mistakes, but we must forgive ourselves and others, and continuously do our best to improve and reach our goals. With the help of God and His angels, we can do it. Just like the caterpillar breaks out of the cocoon, turns into a butterfly and takes flight, whether you believe it or not, your spirit will break free from the physical limitations and take flight to higher realms of growth until it is one with the Creator. God bless. Chiamek.